Alright my friend, it's Duke. Welcome to day number 1 of our 7-day Swift challenge. You are in, my friend. Let's start our challenge. 7 day, here we go. We'll learn how to code in this course. It's going to be very hands-on. It's going to be very personal. I'm going to take your hand, walk you each step of the way. You'll never get stuck, I promise. I'm here to help you each step of the way. So if you, right up front, if you have any questions, please just just post it right below this video and I am happy to help. So in this video, in this first day of our challenge, we will code immediately. But before we do that, we will need some understanding of coding first. So again, coding simply means that you give the computer, you give the phone step-by-step instruction on how to do something. Now, in order to talk to the phone, in order to talk to the computer, you need to use a special language. Just like I'm talking to you right now, I'm using English, right? Or whatever the language that they will transcribe it to be. But in order to talk to the phone, you need a special programming language. It's called a programming language. It is used to talk to the phone or the computer. The language that we're going to use is called Swift. It is a language invented by Apple, and it is by Apple. It is used to build iPhone apps, and iPhone apps, iPad app, watch apps, TV apps, macOS apps. Pretty much everything that Apple has, you can build apps for those platforms too. And then because Swift is an open source language, meaning that anyone can use it, everyone can use it. So it is in the future is going to be promising, very promising, that you can use Swift to build web apps, to build Android apps, to build server apps, any kind of things that you see in technology now today. So you are in a good start, my friend. So let's get ahead. Number 1, you need a computer. So if you don't have a computer, well, you're screwed. But if you have a computer, great. If you have a Mac, then you need to go to the App Store. Search for an application, a free by Apple. It's called Xcode, and then install that thing just like you install any application. If you don't have a Mac, you are using a Windows PC, then just go ahead into your browser, search for it's called Swift compiler or Swift playground on your internet, and there will be some result pop up. I will put out some links below this video for you. So please install that now, and let's go ahead into our first demo. I already installed Xcode in my computer, so maybe you need to take a moment to download it. It's pretty heavy, but download and install that first and then head over the demo with me. Okay, opening up Xcode, you'll see the Welcome to Xcode screen. This is the screen you see every time you open up Xcode, and on the right hand side here, because if this is the first time that you ever open Xcode, there may not be anything on the right hand side. Those are just some of the shortcuts to my previous project, and after this you'll see 1 or 2 projects right on the right hand side. On the left hand side, you see the welcome to screen. We have get started with a playground, which we'll use in this module, and then we have create a new Xcode project or checking out an existing project. An Xcode project is something that you use to build any kind of iOS, meaning iPhone, iPad apps, or watchOS apps for the Apple Watch, or Apple TV apps, or macOS apps, or even apps for other platforms too, or games, any kind of things that you can think of. Those are called a project. So now, because we want to demonstrate and I want to teach you how to build, how to program in Swift, that is something Playground can take care of. A playground is something that you can literally type code on the left hand side, and on the right hand side you see the result immediately. It's very fun to work with, incredible way to learn to program. So let's click the get started with a playground, and here I will tighten the name. Let's call this variables, and then iOS, right? You can choose macOS or tvOS. I will choose iOS, and I will click next. Then I will put it in my folder here so that later on you can download this complete project. Okay, so welcome to Playground. Now if this is the first time ever that you open up an Xcode Playground, great. It may not look exactly like this, so let me help you to configure Xcode a little bit so that it is easier for you to work with. Sounds good? So I will go over Xcode here, preferences or command comma, and then you can, oops, let me open that again. Then let's go into the font and color, and maybe you want to increase the font here. And the way that I increase this font, I just select everything like this, I drag it down, and I select the T button right here, and let me increase the font to 36. It will be bigger for you to look at that, much better, right? And then if you look at the left hand side right here, we have the line numbers. That is incredibly important for you to navigate your code. So let's click into navigation, and you will see that there is, oops, sorry, the text editing right here, and you'll see the line number. Make sure that click the show line numbers, incredibly important, so that you have a sense of the code that you write. Because now later on I will share with you a secret, that is a better developer is someone who writes little code to solve so much more bigger problem. So a good developer writes less code. Okay, it doesn't mean that you write less code. It means that you solve a problem in a more efficient way. So now let me introduce you to coding, to writing some code, because after we talk a while, let's do the coding. Number one, you see the playground, the blue line or the green line over here. This is something we call a comment. A comment is something that the computer ignores, right? Or compiler, meaning that the thing that translates our code here into something zeros and ones that the computer can understand. It called a compiler, a Swift compiler, or let's just call it Swift. Okay, so a comment is something that the compiler or Swift ignores. It is just a way for us developers to document our code, to explain for us, for ourselves and our teammates what we are trying to do here. So let's say I want to write a comment. I will use 2 backslash like this, and then we'll put in something like variables in Swift, something like that. Sounds good? Line number 5 here, we have import UI kit. This thing, please for now ignore that, because you wouldn't. I don't want to confuse you and overwhelm you, because it will not serve you any good. So just ignore that for now. Just know that there's something that is there so that you can use some of Swift code. Okay. On line number 7, here's something important. We have var str equals hello playground in quotation mark. What is that? Well, this thing is something we call a variable. A variable in programming, it means that it is kind of like a placeholder of value. Imagine that it is like a box. That this box, it can contain some values, right? It can contain some values. And the way that you create a variable is use a keyword called var right here. Okay, so now there's a lot of things that I just talked about. Number 1, we use a variable, meaning that a box that contains some values, right? Number 2, we have keyword. What is that, a keyword? Well, programming, if you think of programming is like giving the computer instructions to do something, then a programming language, which is Swift, the thing that we're using right now, is literally a language that it has vocabulary, it has syntax, it has structures that you have to follow, that you must know in order to communicate with the computer. So right now I'm using English to talk to you, right? And in order to talk to you in English, I must know like those basic words or vocabularies in order to talk to you, right? It's the same in programming. The job of learning programming is just the job of learning a new language in a more structured way. That's it. That's why there will be a lot of new things, there will be a lot of challenges, and I hope that you will stay with me because I'm going to help you every single way during this course. So stay calm, okay? Be calm, and let's just get to work. So the keyword is var str equals hello playground. When we have the equal here, it means that you assign the value of on the right hand side to the variable on the left hand side. So here we have the value hello playground here. It is something we called a string. Okay, meaning that it is a sequence of characters. A string is a sequence of characters. So we assign the value here. Pay attention, that it has to be in quotation mark. Otherwise, it will just like some random text and it will have some errors. And I will show you some errors along the way. So here we have a string, assign a value into the str variable, the name of the variable. Sounds good? All right, let's create some variable and then we will talk more about that. Number one, I will create a variable called book. And the type of this variable, in order to declare the type of this variable, I will use colon, string like this, and pay attention that you must typing in exactly like what I'm typing in right now, otherwise you have an error, okay? Equals something like quotation mark, pick, okay? There's a book called Pick by Anders Ericsson. I love this book. It's about learning, about high performance. You love this too. Check it out. Okay, check it out on Amazon. Amazon is incredible. So let's talk about this. This syntax is a little bit different from this one. So we have book. The name of the variable is book. And we have the type of this guy is string. Right, so it's kind of the same, but I am more explicit. I will tell Swift that, hey Swift, create for me a variable named book of typed string with the initial value of pick, which is a string because it is in quotation mark. Sounds good? So now let's create another one, var author, which is also a string, equals to Anders Ericsson's. I believe that's how you type his name, like that, just one S right there. So here we do the same thing. We have, hey Swift, create for me a variable called author of type string with the initial values of Anders Ericsson. Now, does it make sense? I hope that it makes sense. So now, the reason why we call this guy a variable is that you can change its value. So a variable, you can hold some values, you can put some values there, but it has to be of a type. And you can change its value too. So let's say I want to change the book title into something like Grit, another book I'm reading, and you want to change the author into Angela Duckworth, like this. And now you see on the right hand side, I forgot to tell you about that, is the results panel. The results panel here, you see here, this line over here, book is changed to Grit and authors is changed to Angela Duckworth, right? Now the great book is all about success, is ultimately about a mix of passion and perseverance. Check it out, it's incredible reading. So that's how you change the variable value. Right? So now I want to do an exercise with you, and after that we will we'll have a code challenge. In this exercise, let's create a variable called number of projects, like this, of typed integer, which is number, right? You see, colon int equals to 10. Pay attention that if this is the first time ever that you ever program, if you're typing in something like int like this, you will have an error. Because the compiler, Swift, doesn't know what is this thing, right? Inside its vocabulary, inside its dictionary, it doesn't know what is an int with a lowercase I. So it has to be like this, because it is a computer. It is not like human that can understand those kind of variation, okay? And pay attention that the number of projects here, the naming convention that I'm using right now is something we call camel case. Camel case. So what it is that the first character will be lowercase, other initials could be uppercase. Okay, so it's like a camel. Make sense? Now, don't like space out these things, because it will always have an error, right? Because now this could be one thing, right? The name of the variable. After that, it will not recognize this, because it expects that after that it should be a type or an equal sign, and then the value, right? So if you do it like this, it will not recognize the code too. So it's not like now the way the error that we typing in an essay into the computer so you can build a program is so far from now. So maybe it's already exists with some artificial intelligence, but not that kind of complex, right? So you have to follow along the syntax. After that, let's say for the number of projects, you have freelancing projects, right? You have 10 projects, and each project we have the average rate is something like a double equals to, let's say, $2,500, right? So a double here is meaning in real values, right? A real number, a floating point number. And then I want to calculate the revenue that we have. So the revenue is the number of projects times the average rate, right? So var revenue, which is again another double, and that is the number of project times the average rate, right? So we have the number of projects times the average rate, which rate will give you the revenue. But hey, what's going on here? Now this times here is multiply. It is something we call a multiply operator. It gives us literally math, just like first grade math over here. Or I guess that's second grade. Okay, so I don't know if in the States, if in the second grade you already did multiplier in where from. I'm doing second grade multiplier right there. Now here, if we click into this, we have an error. It says binary operator, the star, cannot be applied to operand of type int and double. Now what is this? What is this crypted message? Well, that is something that along the way as a developer you have to get used to a lot, and trust me, as you program, as you code, you'll get more and more experience with these things, right? Now one of the most difficult challenge that a developer have is that when you first get started, these languages, these error messages doesn't make any sense. That's why I'm here for you. This thing, it means that when you have this, the number of project is an integer, the type of it is an integer, and this thing is a double. It cannot do multiplier so that it can convert into a double like this. Okay, so all it means is that you cannot do that, and you have to somehow convert the number of projects from an integer to a double, and that is how you do it. So I will have typing in double like this, and open parentheses and close parentheses, grab around the number of projects. All we did is that we tell Swift that, hey, for a second, imagine that this is a double value, or convert the value of number of projects into a double for me. So it could be 10.0, so that you can times the average rate, which is another double. And here we have 25,000. Sounds good? All right, so now let's do the tax, because if you make some money, you are going to have to pay tax. So we have tax is a double, the percentage, let's say 10%, okay? Or personal tax, it should be over 20% or something. And then how about we have the tax amount equals to revenue, right? The revenue right here times the tax, right? The tax here, and we divide it by 100.0. Now what does this mean? Well, it means that we did two operations on the fly. So we have the revenue times the tax divided by 100, assign that to the tax amount. So we have the tax amount here is 5,000, right? 25,000 divided by 5, because this 20% is 5,000. That's correct. Now you may ask here, why is it we don't declare the type of the tax amount? right? We declare the type of number of project, declare the type of average rate, the revenue, the tax. Why is it we didn't declare the tax amount typed? Well, if you look at this thing right here, the var str equals hello playground, it does the same thing. Well, as it turns out that maybe if you are having some experience with things like JavaScript or Python, you know this. So it means that Swift has the power of inferring the type of a variable from the value, the initial value that you give it. So here, you give it the value of 20.0. It can infer, or it can just like translate it into the type is double. If it is a 10, then the type is an int. But because I just want to share with you, that is how you declare the type of a thing. Okay, so if you hold the option key right now, click into this text amount, hold the option key, click into text amount, you see that there's a declaration var text amount is a double. All right, that means that it's the same thing above here, the text var text double right there. It means that Swift does know it. Okay, so you don't have to necessarily declare it like that. I just want to show you that you can do that, and later on, by introducing you to this concept, later on when we learn about something we call function, it will get you up and running real fast. All right, so now the last thing, let's do the income is another double, is the revenue minus the tax amount. All right, so that is 20,000 because 25,000 minus 5,000. And that, my friend, is how you create a variable. We just talked about how to create variables in Swift, how to create comments, how to, what is the values of a variable, how to change a variable values, the types of data in Swift, the types of variable in Swift, operations, operators, right, doing math. We did that in less than 30 minutes. I hope that you enjoyed this session. And as always, right below this video, you will see some description information about your code challenge. Try that out. Try that out. Try out, do the code challenge. Very short and very something incredibly similar to this. So try that out. I will pause this video a little bit so you can try it. Okay, so pause it now and then come back with me, track with me. I will walk you through how to do the code challenge so that just I can add some more values to you. That's all. Okay, and if you don't you are not able to figure that out, I can help you with that too. So pause this workshop, come back with me, check with me on the code challenge. Do the code challenge now. Do not leave it until tomorrow. Do it now. Did you do it? Do it now. I will wait for you. Do it now. Do not wait. Do it now. All right. So I will do my part here. So I will make a comment here. Okay, this is a comment with a bunch of stars, and then I will have another comment for the code challenge right here. Okay, oops, did correctly the number of stars, so it looks nice. Okay, I will have another star. Okay, and another star. All right. So now let's do the code challenge. Number one, I'm gonna create the Martian variable equals to 9.54. Okay, I don't know why my code challenge tells that like I'm a nerd here, own books. All right, so here we have the 4-hour work week by Timothy Ferris. We have 19.5. We have the blue ocean strategy equals to $15.8 right here. I honestly don't know the price, but hey, this is the blue ocean strategy. I incredibly recommend you to read that, especially if you are an entrepreneur. It's incredibly helpful in helping you strategizing your business ideas and products and development. It's incredible. Read that. Okay, so now we have the total is going to be the Martian, right, plus the 4-hour work week. And you see, by the way, you see the Xcode incredibly smart. It will suggest for us what is it right here. So it suggests for us the 4-hour work week because it knows that you are referring to this guy. So press enter, right? And then we have plus blue ocean strategy like this. Okay, the reason why I typed it so fast is that I used that recommendation from Xcode. And you'll see that it is 44.84. Now let's have the text percentage equals to 10.0. And pay attention that if I do var text equals 10.0. Okay, let's see what do we got. Oh, we got an error. It says invalid redeclaration of text. What is that? Well, it means that we redeclare a variable because up here on line 21, I already create a variable called text in the same playground. So we cannot do that. Right? We can create that in different playground because a playground is considered like a program, but you cannot create that same variable with the same name in a playground. Okay, so here we have to use text percentage right here. And then let's say we have the text amount because I already have the text amount above here. So we use text amount 2 equals to total times text over 10.0, 100.0. Okay, and then let's say the shipping cost is 4.99. And then we have total bill. I know I go a little bit fast because I expect that you already did that. So we have total plus shipping cost minus, plus the text amount 2. And that is the code challenge that I'm referring to. Alright, I hope that you enjoy this first training. It is all about variables and setting up all the tools, all the resources for you. I hope that you enjoy this, and maybe it is a little bit confusing. That's okay, because you know, the first time I learned how to code, the first time I learned how to build apps for iOS like this, it was not that I have a book or a course. It's just a professor on campus. He was majoring in different fields in computer science, but then as a hobby, he picks up a book teach him how to build iPhone apps. It's like several years ago, and then he learned it through the books, and he just talked to me that, hey dude, do you like to build iPhone apps? This Saturday could come to our workshop and I will teach you how to build apps. And then yeah, I love that. I love to learn new things, so I just go to the workshop, and you know what? He teach me for 2 sessions. It means that 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And then each week is like 5 hours. After 10 hours of learning these stuff, gosh, it was still hard for him. It was still hard for me. And I remember that we just code a very, very incredibly simple app. Just so simple. And it crashed. It means that it doesn't work for the first time that we open it. And then he spent the next 3 hours with me trying to debug that thing, trying to find out what is the errors, and we couldn't figure it out. Well, I tell you this story because some people say that you need years and years of programming experience in order to learn how to build iPhone apps or build web apps or build Android apps. Well, you are learning, you are building your programming experience right in this course, right in this 7-day code challenge, this 7-day Swift challenge with me. So you don't need any prior programming experience. That professor of mine, incredible person, he had 30 years of prior programming experience. Incredible professor, incredible computer scientist. He moved into a new field, building iOS apps. He started fresh. Maybe he has really much foundation in other languages, but when you move into a new field, you still start fresh. So don't worry. You are just in like the beginning line, just like anyone else. Just start. Just start. I always tell people, no matter how small you start, start something that matters. And at the end of the day, that is what matters. You just start, my friend. So I want to congratulate you. Day 1 of our 7-day Swift challenge is complete. It is a little bit longer than the other days because we need to set up other things. I need to set your mindset right because maybe you're still doubt that can we do this? So please stay with me for 7 days. You just get 1 day done. 30 minutes each day. Schedule it now. Just give me 30 minutes every single day, and I promise you, you are going to love this journey. It will open up so many opportunities for you. Imagine that you can become a developer. Imagine that you know how to code after 7 days, and you just, maybe you have a little small extra income every month. Will it be very helpful for you? Will it be very helpful for your family? You know, the first time that I got a job to build some websites, to build some apps for my friend, it gives me $400 extra every month, and it changed my life forever. And I hope that for you. I hope that for you. So please stay at it. Congratulations, day 1 is complete. I see you tomorrow. Until then, go out there every single day of your life, learn new things, craft your ideas, and contribute to the world.